No one wanted to take the job anymore. The rumors about the billionaire's son had spread across the city, and that every nanny who walked through those golden gates left in tears, or worse, in bandages. But on that cold Monday morning, Maya Johnson stood at the towering front doors of the Hawthorne mansion, clutching her old leather bag, and whispered to herself, "You've handled tougher kids before, Maya. You can do this." The intercom buzzed. "Name?" the voice snapped. "Maya Johnson. I'm here for the nanny position," she replied, forcing a calm tone. The gates opened with a deep mechanical hum, revealing a driveway long enough to fit a dozen cars, lined with marble statues and fountains that glittered under the morning sun. Inside the mansion, Eleanor Hawthorne, the billionaire's assistant, greeted her, tall, icy, and expressionless. "Mr. Hawthorne will see you briefly, but don't expect much," she said flatly. "You're the 10th applicant this month." Maya just nodded. She wasn't here for glamour. She was here because her sister's medical bills were piling up. Transition to mansion interior and tension build. The house smelled of wealth, polished wood, expensive perfume, silence that felt too heavy. Then came the sound that broke it in a loud crash. Glass shattered somewhere upstairs, followed by a child's scream. Eleanor didn't even flinch. "That would be him," she muttered, rubbing her temples. Moments later, a man in a charcoal suit descended the staircase. Handsome, but with exhaustion carved into his features. Ethan Hawthorne, billionaire CEO, single father. He gave Maya a tired glance. "You've read the file?" "Yes, sir." "About your son, Adrian." Ethan sighed. "He's not easy. Since his mother passed, he's changed. Every nanny quits within days. If you can last a week, I'll double your pay." Maya smiled softly. "I'm not here for money, sir. I just want to help." He looked at her, really looked, for the first time. "We'll see." Maya was led to the nursery, a large, beautiful room filled with toys, books, and a small chaos of broken crayons scattered across the floor. There, standing near the window, was Adrian, and a small boy, maybe 6 or 7, with bright blue eyes and a face that looked far too serious for his age. He didn't turn around when she entered. Instead, he whispered without looking, "You'll leave like the others." Maya knelt beside him. "Maybe I won't." He turned sharply. Anger flashed across his face. "Don't touch my things!" he shouted, grabbing a toy and throwing it toward her. It hit the wall and shattered. Maya didn't flinch. She simply sat on the floor and began picking up the broken pierce. "You broke your favorite toy," she said quietly. "That must have hurt." Adrian froze. No one ever spoke to him like that. He stared, confused, as she gently held out the toy car's wheel. "If you want, we can fix it together." For a long moment, the room stayed silent. Then, unexpectedly, Adrian whispered, "You..." "Not scared of me?" Maya smiled softly. "Why should I be? You're just a little boy who misses someone." Something flickered in his eyes. Pain, confusion, maybe recognition. Then, without a word, he turned and walked toward his bed, clutching the wheel in his small hands. Later that night, emotional buildup. Downstairs, Ethan poured himself a glass of scotch and stared at the fireplace. Eleanor entered, arms crossed. "She's still there. No screaming, no broken bones. I think she's different." Ethan scoffed. "They all start that way." But deep down, a sliver of hope stirred. Upstairs, Maya sat quietly beside Adrian's bed. He had fallen asleep clutching that broken toy, breathing softly under the dim nightlight. She brushed his hair gently and whispered, "You're not a bad boy, Adrian. You just need someone to see you." Her words hung in the quiet air, words no one had ever said to him before. Maya woke early, put on her uniform, sky blue scrubs with neat white trim, and her yellow cleaning gloves. She made breakfast for Adrian, pancakes shaped like stars. When the boy came down, he stopped mid-step, confused. "You made these?" "Of course," Maya said cheerfully. "You can't start a day on an empty stomach." He hesitated, then took a bite. For the first time since his mother's death, he smiled. At that exact moment, Ethan entered the dining room, briefcase in hand, and froze. His son, the boy who had screamed at every nanny, was laughing, and the woman who made it happen wasn't trembling or defeated. She was calm, warm, human. Ethan approached, still stunned. "What's going on here?" Adrian looked up with a pancake crumb on his cheek. "She made stars, Dad." Maya grinned. Breakfast stars. For the little astronaut. Ethan couldn't help but chuckle, the first real laugh he'd let out in months. As he left for work, he turned back once more at the door. Thank you, Maya. I haven't seen him smile in a long time. She nodded. Sometimes all a child needs is someone who listens. But that night, as the house fell silent again, Maya heard something through the baby monitor, a voice whispering softly in Adrian's room. A woman's voice. Maya froze in the hallway. She stepped closer to the door, pressing her ear against it. Don't tell Daddy, the voice whispered. She can't stay. Adrian whimpered in his sleep. Maya's heart raced. Who was that voice? And why did it sound like someone who wasn't alive anymore? Maya stood frozen outside Adrian's bedroom, her hand trembling near the doorknob. The baby monitor crackled again. That same whisper came through, faint but clear. Don't let her stay, Adrian. She'll hurt you too. Maya's pulse quickened. The voice was unmistakably female, soft, calm, and heartbreakingly familiar. But the house was empty. Ethan had left for a late business dinner, and Eleanor had gone home hours ago. Maya slowly opened the door. The room was dim, lit only by the pale blue nightlight near the crib. Adrian was asleep, his tiny chest rising and falling. The broken toy car still clutched in his hand. The air felt heavy, cold. She whispered, "Who's there?" No answer. Just the faint sound of a lullaby playing from an old music box on the shelf. It hadn't been touched all day. Maya's eyes drifted toward it. A delicate silver box, engraved with the name Clara, Ethan's late wife. The next morning, sunlight spilled into the nursery. It looked peaceful, like nothing had happened. Adrian ran around chasing his toy plane while Maya folded his clothes. But inside, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone else had been in that room last night. At breakfast, Ethan looked exhausted again, unshaven, distracted, lost in his phone. "Rough night, Mr. Hawthorne?" she asked. He looked up, startled that someone even noticed. "Couldn't sleep. The house. It's too quiet sometimes." Maya hesitated, then asked softly, "Did your wife used to sing to Adrian?" Ethan froze mid-bite. His fork clinked against the plate. "How do you know that?" Maya swallowed hard. "I heard a lullaby last night. From his room." Ethan's expression darkened. "That's impossible." He stood up abruptly, pushing the chair back. "That song hasn't played since Clara died." He walked toward the fireplace, staring at a framed picture. Clara, smiling, holding baby Adrian in her arms. She loved that lullaby. Used to hum it every night before he slept. He paused. His voice trembled slightly. "The night she died, I heard it playing from the monitor, but she was already gone." Silence filled the room. Only the faint ticking of the antique clock broke it. Maya whispered, "I think Adrian still hears her." Ethan turned to her sharply. "Don't start with that ghost nonsense. My son needs therapy, not superstition." Maya nodded quietly. "Maybe he just needs peace." Later that afternoon, Adrian sat in the garden, building something with his Lego blocks. Maya joined him, kneeling beside him. "What are you making?" He didn't look up. "A house, but it keeps breaking." She smiled. "Maybe it just needs stronger walls." He paused, then whispered, "Mom said the same thing." Maya's heart tightened. "You remember your mom?" "A little?" He pointed toward the window upstairs. "She still talks to me sometimes, but Dad doesn't like it when I tell him." Maya's hand froze over the grass. "What does she say, Adrian?" He shrugged innocently. "She says she misses me, and that she's scared of you." Maya felt her blood run cold. "Scared of me?" He nodded. "She said you'll take me away." That night, Maya couldn't sleep. She sat by the window looking out at the mist-covered garden. Then she saw it, a faint light flickering in the nursery. She rushed upstairs and opened the door, the light from the music box spinning slowly, the lullaby echoing again. But Adrian wasn't in his bed. Her heart dropped. "Adrian?" she called softly. No answer. She checked the bathroom, empty. The closet? Nothing. Then she noticed the window slightly open, curtains fluttering. Maya's voice cracked. "Oh my God!" She ran downstairs barefoot into the cold backyard. Near the garden fountain, she spotted him, standing there in his pajamas, staring at the night sky. She rushed over, wrapping him in her arms. "Adrian, what are you doing out here?" he whispered, his voice calm and eerie. "Mom said she wanted to see me. She said she'd come get me tonight." Maya looked around. The garden was empty, still and silent. But the air, it felt wrong, as if someone was watching. She pulled him close. "No one's taking you, okay? You're safe." He nodded, pressing his face against her shoulder. Maya carried him back inside, locking every window and door before tucking him in again. As she turned off the lamp, she glanced once more at the silver music box. It was closed now. But a single word was scratched onto its surface. A word that wasn't there before. "Leave!" The next morning, Ethan stormed into the kitchen. "Maya, what the hell happened last night?" "I found the back door open." Maya tried to stay calm. "Adrian was outside. He said his mother told him to go." Ethan slammed his hand on the table. "Enough! You're feeding his imagination." "I'm not," Maya said firmly. "He's hearing her, Ethan. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, something, or someone, is trying to pull him away." He stared at her, anger and fear mixing in his eyes. "I hired you to take care of my son, not fill his head with stories." Maya took a deep breath. "With respect, sir, maybe the problem isn't his imagination. Maybe it's yours." Ethan froze. "Excuse me?" She looked him straight in the eye. "You can't heal him if you refuse to face your own grief." For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Ethan turned away, voice low. "You don't know what I've lost." Maya said softly, "You're not the only one." Emotional bridge scene, growing trust. That evening, Ethan found Maya sitting by the piano in the living room, softly playing the same lullaby. He stood quietly in the doorway, listening. "How do you know that song?" he asked finally. Maya smiled faintly. "I didn't. I just played what I heard last night." Ethan looked down. His voice broke slightly. "Clara used to play it here, before the accident." Maya turned to him. "What really happened to her, Ethan?" He hesitated. "Car crash. Late at night. She was driving back from visiting her sister. Was Adrian with her?" "No," he said, eyes darkening. "He was home with the nanny. She quit the next day, said she couldn't stand the crying." Silence again. Then Maya said quietly, "Sometimes souls don't rest when love is unfinished." That night, Maya sat beside Adrian's bed, reading him a story until his eyes slowly closed. But as she got up to leave, she noticed something, the reflection in the window. Behind her, a faint silhouette of a woman in white stood near the crib, gently stroking Adrian's hair. Maya turned quickly. The space was empty. Her voice trembled. "Clara?" A whisper floated through the air, soft as breath. "Don't let him forget me." Then silence. Maya backed away slowly, her heart pounding. She now knew the truth. Clara wasn't angry. She wasn't haunting her son. She was protecting him. But from what? Or who? The next morning, the mansion was quieter than ever. Even the birds outside seemed hesitant to sing. Maya sat on the edge of her bed, the morning light spilling through the curtains. Her phone buzzed on the table. Another message from the agency. "Ms. Maya, we received a complaint. Mr. Cross has terminated your contract effective immediately." Her heart sank. So that's it, fired, without even a goodbye. But something inside her whispered, "No, not this time. Not when the truth is still buried." She dressed quickly, her blue and white uniform crisp. Yellow gloves folded neatly into her pocket. Her small symbol of pride. Then she walked down the hallway toward the study, where she knew she'd find Richard Cross, the billionaire who ruled this house with silence. The door was half open. Inside, Richard sat behind his massive oak desk, staring at a file, Ethan's medical reports. His shoulders were hunched, his jaw tight. He looked older, broken. "Sir," Maya said softly, stepping inside. He looked up sharply. "You shouldn't be here, Maya. You've been dismissed." "I know, but I also know your son doesn't need another nanny. He needs his father." Richard's expression froze. "You don't know what you're talking about." Maya took a breath, her voice steady but full of fire. "Yes, I do. You think I didn't notice? The way he flinches when someone raises their voice. The way he hides under the piano when footsteps sound too heavy. That's not a spoiled child, Mr. Cross. That's a terrified one." Richard's hand trembled. "Enough!" No, Maya said, her tone rising. You need to hear this. That boy, he's angry because he's alone, because every woman who's come into his life left him, and every man he's looked up to has ignored him. For a moment, Richard's face softened, grief flickering behind his eyes. You don't understand, he murmured. Then make me understand, Maya said, because all I see is a child who just wants his father to look at him. Silence filled the room. Only the ticking of the wall clock broke it. Finally, Richard sighed. My wife, Evelyn, she died when Ethan was 3. A car accident. I was overseas. She was driving him to his doctor's appointment. He looked down, his voice cracking. He survived. She didn't. He saw everything. Maya's heart clenched. Richard continued, eyes unfocused. After that day, he stopped talking for almost a year. Every time a nanny tried to hold him, he'd scream. He'd throw things. He thought they were trying to replace her. He turned away, voice hollow. And I couldn't look at him. Because every time I did, I saw her face. Maya's, yes, welled up. So you buried yourself in work. You punished yourself and him. Richard didn't answer. She walked closer, her tone softening. You can't heal him by avoiding him, Mr. Cross. You can only heal him by being there. At that moment, a small voice came from the doorway. Daddy? Both turned. Ethan stood there, pajamas wrinkled, teddy bear in hand. His eyes were red from crying. Richard froze. He hadn't heard his son speak that word in years. Maya slowly stepped aside. Go on, she whispered. Ethan took a hesitant step forward. Daddy, don't be mad at Miss Maya. I like her. She makes the house not scary. Richard's eyes glistened. He knelt down. I'm not mad, son. Ethan frowned. Then why do you always look sad? The billionaire, the man who owned half the city, has suddenly looked small, fragile. He reached out and pulled Ethan into his arms. Because I miss Mommy too, he whispered. Ethan clung to him, his tiny hands gripping his father's suit. For the first time in years, Richard let his tears fall freely. Maya stood in silence, her heart breaking and healing all at once. That night, the mansion felt different. Warmer, the lights softer, the air lighter. Richard asked Maya to stay, not as a maid, not as a nanny, but as part of the family's healing. For weeks, laughter began to return to the halls. Ethan learned to paint again, to run through the garden without fear. He'd often hand Maya a brush and say, You paint too, Miss Maya. Sometimes Richard would join them, sitting on the grass in his expensive suit, shoes off, smiling like a man who had just discovered the meaning of peace. One afternoon, as Maya was folding laundry, Richard approached her. You were right, he said quietly. She looked up. About what? He smiled faintly. That I wasn't just trying to replace nannies. I was trying to replace my guilt. Maya didn't respond. She just nodded, understanding. He continued, voice thick with emotion. You didn't just save Ethan, Maya, you saved me. She laughed softly. I didn't save anyone, sir. I just reminded you both what love feels like. But one thing still haunted Maya. One evening, she found Ethan sitting in the nursery, staring at an old framed photo of his mother. You miss her? She asked gently. He nodded. But I think she sent you. Maya froze. What do you mean? Ethan smiled, the same innocent smile that had melted her heart the first day. When I sleep, I see Mommy. She says, Be nice to Maya, she'll make Daddy smile again. Tears spilled down Maya's face. She hugged him tightly. Then I guess we both have a job to do, don't we? Months later, the agency called again, offering her a new placement. But she said no. She wasn't just a maid anymore. She was family. And sometimes, when the sun set behind the mansion and the nursery filled with golden light, Richard would stand by the door, watching Maya rock Ethan to sleep, her yellow gloves resting on the crib, her soft humming filling the room. He would whisper to himself. Evelyn would have liked her. Maya kisses Ethan's forehead, whispering, Some smiles heal more than medicine ever can. The camera pans slowly toward the window, sunlight washing the scene in gold, symbolizing hope, love, and redemption. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more powerful human stories that remind us kindness can heal anything.